What up? This is Yinka Diz,
It's Haas truly.
and you're listening to the 80s Babies podcast. And today we are here to talk about Cardi B's Am I the Drama?
Yeah.
Released September 19th, 2025 by Atlantic Records. So Haas, we're going to start with the why. So Haas wanted to discuss this album specifically. So let's talk a bit about, kind of why you wanted to talk about this album.
I did. I wanted to step out of my neo so bad. But also, I saw you had some thoughts about specifically imaginary players, which obviously came from this project.
Yep.
And so I didn't know. I was curious to see what your thoughts were after the project was released.
Yeah.
And if your, opinions, they just seemed a little interesting. They seemed a little strong. So let's
talk about that first. So, for folks that have listened to the podcast, they know what our thoughts were. We got clips out there and everything. So if you haven't, go back and check out the episode. But you, Haas, as a sometimes listener of the podcast, sometimes contributor to the podcast, what were your thoughts on our thoughts?
I didn't necessarily think they were. I didn't think they were harsh, but I was like, oh man, they sound kind of strict. Like, what's what's good with the criteria? You know what I'm saying? So I understood, where you guys were coming from or that perspective. And I will never pretend to be, I'm not a full on like rap hip hop connoisseur. Definitely enjoy it. But also I guess my criteria or the things that I enjoy are obviously different. So when I heard Imaginary Players, I was like, okay, like she's trying something. I looked at it more from a creative standpoint.
Okay.
And y'all were like, hell no.
The funny thing is, and we'll talk about it when we get to the track for track, when I listen to it in the body of the album, which I feel like all the hip hop nerds or nerds always say this, but I listened to it in the body of the album and I felt differently about it.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about it.
That was my main question, but yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's kind of talk about the album. I don't know if you want to kind of contextualize maybe a where were you? Clearly this is a 10-second take. So this album just came out, but maybe tell us a bit about your Cardi fandom. Did you hear the first one? What were your expectations when approaching this one?
Yeah, so my introduction to Cardi was Love and Hip Hop. I'm gonna just, so I was introduced to her as a person, and I was always intrigued by her story because out of all, for those, who might not watch Love and Hip Hop, whatever, but it's about everyone who's aspiring to be in the industry, those who are in the, there's always up and coming somebody, and those projects normally flop. And there was something about Cardi specifically where it's like, I didn't look at her and say, oh my gosh, I think she's the one.
Yeah.
But the fact that she was able to break out of that and it was something that was tangible and she's still been able to ride off of that.
Right.
It made me a little more, I don't know, she's just very endearing. So it made me kind of root for her. So the first project, I didn't have any expectations, just more so curiosity.
Yeah.
And, it was a strong project. Obviously she got her Grammy, but I thought it was a great showing for what we normally see from people who are on reality TV and who are aspiring so-and-sos, and they're not normally able to turn things around.
Right.
So.
I completely agree with you. And my where were you is the same. I, funny enough, back then used to watch Love and Hip Hop, and I remember seeing her on the show. And it's funny because I definitely had my hip hop snob hat on, and most of the people I was watching, I was entertained by, but I didn't have any expectations for any of them. I would say the one person, I don't know if you remember all the characters at the time, but the one person that I guess kind of respected on that level was Bianca, right? Because she had the Chicken Noodle Soup record, and she could really rap. So in my mind, it was like, she's like a real artist. And then there's all these other people that basically, DJ Self, I think was the guy's name, and all these other Creep Squad guys just want to sleep with all these women, right? So they bring these women around that are aspiring artists, but they have no intention to actually give them an opportunity. They're just using their platform to try to get access to them.
Right.
And so, Cardi was kind of in this pool. And I remember in watching the show, one of the reasons why I loved her story so much is myself included, everybody was kind of maybe rooting against her because she seemed like the most unlikely of the bunch.
I could see that.
And I remember there was a specific episode where she's kind of in this DJ Self orbit, and DJ Self had some little white girl that also
I think it was couldn't Mariah Lynn.
Yeah. And so he was putting some sort of showcase together where he gave Mariah Lynn this opportunity and not Cardi B. And she was very upset about it because she's like, I thought I was your artist too, but you're not taking me seriously. And I just remembered that specifically because at the time it seemed like it kind of made sense. Like he's like, okay, little white girl, I'll probably make money off her because people want to see little white girls do stuff. So I'll bet on her and not on you.
Yeah.
But then, then all these years later, like Cardi just has this big glow up.
I know he kicked himself.
He probably look at himself in the mirror every day. In fact, one time I saw him, this was around that era, when Cardi first really started blowing up. Maybe Bodak Yellow had just come out. And I saw him at the park. And he was walking through the park. And somebody asked him like, yo, how you feel about that Cardi? Like as he was walking. And he stopped and he looked and he just smiled. But yeah, like I know he's sick because
he has to be.
Yeah, because she really glowed all the way up. But like you said, so when she came out with an album, I had zero expectations of her, and then the album was great. Mm-hmm. And she worked so hard, and she really turned into something to where it's like all the stuff she was saying on the album about being an underdog, we saw it. So it's like this album is verbalizing what we got to witness on our own. So I think that was like a really dope story to watch materialize.
Right.
And that was my Where Were You? So then now listening to this album, and it's interesting, just like I said on the other episode, I get why she was apprehensive about it. But partially it's because of how she's positioned.
Yep.
We had no expectations of her. Now she's Grammy Award winning, multi-platinum artist Cardi B. Mm-hmm. And that's it. She's getting comparisons to, Nicki Minaj, who is known as one of the greatest, rappers of all time. So, the expectations are way through the roof, and it's a really, really different vantage point to be releasing music from. Right. So I understand why she feels that way.
And it's, sophomore album,
Sophomore jinx.
Yeah. So... Yeah. And her life, like, let's just be honest, so much of her life has been a part of her story.
Yeah.
She was pregnant with Culture, when she released her first project, and people kind of had questions and thoughts about that. Kind of repeated a little bit, moving into this. So you can't even pretend like elements of her life don't contribute to the overall perception. And I think in the same way that people were counting her out, because over the course of 7 years, she's been openly, ridiculed, critiqued. Her man was embarrassing her, getting in fights. She had, these public industry beefs. All of those things were contributing. The last thing you want is to come out with your sophomore album. Really, after 7 years, you've been releasing these loosies.
Yep.
And it's like, the stakes really are high. Yeah. And so I was very curious to see. I didn't have any doubts, but I was like, ooh, I hope my girl can do it.
Yeah.
I think she was in a more difficult position.
You're right. And I think when she came out the first time, she could talk about haters in a nebulous and, amorphous way.
Right.
But like, no, we didn't know her well enough to know who she's talking about. Maybe she's talking about some girls in the strip club that we don't know.
Right.
But now we know she has some very public haters who are also in the industry as well and stuff like that. So it also changes the weight of some of her words on some of these songs and things like that.
Very much so. Very much so.
Cool. All right. So let's get to kind of discussing the album.
Yes.
So typically, right, we'll start kind of overarching highlights, lowlights, and then we'll go into the track for track. So let's start with your highlights, overarching.
So I think the highlight is that she, released the project. I would say, I normally say the sequencing, but I'm gonna put an asterisk with that. I think the production.
Yeah.
And also I was curious how she was gonna tell her story in this one. And I was like, did she come up with a formula? Yeah. Based off of her last, was she gonna try to repeat that? Right. So I think the overall production, the features, and some of the execution of some of the the subjects, the concepts. So
okay,
I would say that's my highlight.
I got you. I agree with some and disagree with some.
Okay.
My two highlights I have, I said the beats.
Yeah.
Like you said, the production. Generally they're cool, they work. And I think one of the things that she struggled with over the 7 years, or at least that she spoke on, is like the concept of how when you try to do something relevant nowadays, what's relevant changes so fast.
Right.
So she's like, she'll make a record and then she sits on it for 2 years and then that's not even a sound anymore. Right. So, I mean, generally it sounded relevant production wise, which I think was something that she was going for. And then my other is writing.
Yeah.
But maybe not songwriting, just bars. Like I feel like
Okay.
there were good bars, like
Yeah, there were definitely some
things
good
that like
bars.
on each song that I was like, oh, that's clever or
Yeah.
whatever. So those are my two highlights.
Yeah, definitely writing as well.
Yeah, lowlights.
Lowlights. I would at some points it kind of there were a couple of songs, and I guess as we go through the track list, they felt a little repetitive.
Yeah.
Just like a different font, but not like in a we need that kind of way.
Yeah.
And some of the features, like I love that she repeated some of her features from the first project.
Yeah.
There were a couple of features with like Summer Walker where she sounded like Summer, and then other times she sounded like other artists. And so I'm like, so could we not get them? Like, was that the intent? There were times where I thought I heard SZA on the project, and I was like, and I kept checking
I agree
to
with
make
that,
sure.
yeah.
I thought I heard Rihanna. So
100% true.
Yeah.
In fact, I was kind of like, was this written for Rihanna?
Yeah. So that, I mean, I would say that would be kind of like a low light.
I feel like I heard, and again, y'all, like I'm literally, this may be completely not true, so I'm gonna preface it with that. But I feel like I heard a rumor that like she was supposed to get Rihanna and it fell through.
Okay.
And it sounded like
that. You think she blessed Rihanna blessed the likeness of that sound? You think she like slid it over to her like, you good with this?
Maybe it was kind of just like, yo, I know your schedule kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe Rihanna just ain't hit back, and it's like, all right, I mean, it's a lady. She got raised children. She got $1 billion brands. She got better things to do, so it's fine.
She just
get somebody else.
Yeah. I think that's it for my lowlights.
Okay. My lowlights, I will couch mostly to talking about song for song.
Okay.
But man, just originality.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of these songs that I heard, either one, they sounded like a copy and paste of like another artist's song that like you could like name from their catalog.
Interesting.
Or the other thing from an originality perspective, I heard a lot of songs that, and maybe this is like the industry insider in me, that I could tell was just something that a producer and a songwriter wrote it, maybe for another artist, maybe for no artist in particular, and they just put it on the shelf. And then Cardi and her team comes through, they listen and they go, oh yeah, we'll take that. And I'll give a specific example.
I was with the sad need some examples.
We could talk more about it when we get there, right? Okay. But actually, one of the songs that subject matter wise, I think was maybe the best for what her fans wanted to hear, "Man of Your Word." So, "Man of Your Word," right? Like the hook is essentially talking about being a man of my word. And it's very clear that whoever wrote that song, they wrote it for a man, whether it was a male singer or a male rapper. And then Cardi's team picked it, and then they kind of turned the meaning to be like, oh no, you were not a man of your word. So now I'm going to rap from my perspective about how you are not a man of your word. And, had it not been for the other songs that I heard that were clearly not written for Cardi, but were just like songs that were just out there to me, then I wouldn't mind it. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of clever. She took this person's song and she spun it. But because there were so many songs that sounded like that to me, it bothered me at that point in time. Like by that time,
by the time you heard it on the
album. This is song number 9. By this point in time, I'm just like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like that.
I get that. I think, don't quote me, but I think she did reference that.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, that one specifically. I think the hook was, and maybe it is still kind of, lining up with what you're saying. I think the intent was to change it, and they just ended up keeping it, or they were going to get somebody else to do it so that it was more reflective, and then they just ended up staying that way. But no, I definitely understand that critique. It kind of threw me a little bit initially.
I don't hate it. Like it's fine, but it just, in the context of an album that, the biggest records or honestly the best records are songs we heard 3-5 years ago.
You think so?
I don't think. I think that the majority of the songs that I think are the best on here are songs we've heard before.
Okay.
Yeah. But
you got notes. Okay.
Yeah, I got notes.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna say right, cool. We gonna freestyle.
Yeah. No, so all right. So I guess you want to just kind of go track for track.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So track 1 is "Dead" featuring Summer Walker.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on this one?
So again, I thought it was Ree at first, and I said, "Oh shoot, Ree broke out, took out of her hiatus." But it was cool. Like I enjoy, Cardi and Summer collabs.
Right.
I thought that it kind of gave me dreams and nightmares a little bit. So I understand what you were saying in terms of, maybe feeling I don't know. I think, and maybe this is part of what I perceive from like your original critique of Imaginary Players, is I think she was trying to reference and pay homage, but maybe that did sound a little too much like other artists. But I wasn't mad at it because it reminded me again back to her formula where I was like, oh, I don't think there's gonna be a 1-to-1 of like her first album, but maybe she knows what works for her.
Yes.
So I feel like that was her kind of like putting everybody on notice, I just want y'all to know I'm gonna be talking my shit.
Yeah.
Like, get ready.
Yeah. For sure.
I literally have not been saying much on social media.
Right.
I've been kind of like taking my notes, and this is where you're gonna hear it. So I appreciated the track for that, like kind of the announcement. But in the sequence of everything, I wouldn't put that one first. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I understood why she put it first, but but this is my challenge again when we talk about originality. I don't like when artists double or copy and paste other artists. I also don't like when artists copy and paste themselves. And Invasion of Privacy, the first song, is called Get Up 10. Yeah. And it is Dreams and Nightmare Cardi version. And when she did it the first time, we were like, yo, this is dope. It's like a girl version of Dreams and Nightmares. This is great. Yeah. All right, now album 2, Dreams and Nightmares Part 3. This is Cardi doing it again. Like, my nigga, how many times do we need to copy and paste? Now I'm copying and pasting another artist, and then I'm copying and pasting myself, copying and pasting another artist. Like, it's getting too meta for me.
I mean, when you say it like that, I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad song. Like, it's fine. Yeah. Honestly, it was kind of cool to hear Summer's voice on it, but we didn't even need her, right? Like, it was fine. And then, but it's just like, we got Dreams and Nightmares. Yeah. We got Get Up 10. Now we got Dead. But I do like the subject matter, like you're saying. I do feel like it sets the tone for what she's about to talk about.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think in the context of the other tracks where she's talking her shit, that was probably the most mild to me. Yeah.
So I liked mild. I liked subtext. There were records that she was not mild that I liked. Yeah. But I felt like this one was overarching enough to where I think I heard it was Joe Budden's podcast or some other podcast was talking about this song, and they were like, "Oh, that's a Nicki diss, right?"
I feel like it was everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I like that. I like that she made it broad enough that you kind of have to guess because it could apply to a few people.
It's open for interpretation.
Yeah, I like that.
I can see that.
So, but again, like originality. That's my low light.
I think, and I think I've mentioned this in other episodes where, like, even like with Erykah Badu, like she has a formula and like in terms of subject matter and content and vibes and approach to things. So like that doesn't. I just look at it as it being a part of her arsenal. But when you're not wrong on that either. Yeah. So it didn't bother me as much, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, right? Like cool intro. I wish it would. If let's say, let me think of someone else. I don't want to think of somebody that she's dissed. So let's say Flo Milli or Lotto Doechii did Dreams and Nightmares over again on their record, and then this is Cardi doing her version of it. Yeah. Then I'd be like, that's cool. Okay. Like I did on Invasion of Privacy. Yeah. But now it's like, all right, how many times we gotta do this?
So basically she can't do it for the third one.
Yeah, please don't do it for the third one. All right. Hello.
See, okay. Might be a little too cliche, but I felt like that would have been a cool first track to come out with. Yeah. I will say maybe a low light, not the album per se, it was the singles that were released. Yeah. So like Imaginary Players kind of out of nowhere, no context. It's like, I don't know if that's what you should have put out. Like you really want people to trust in what you got going on. Right. Now, after hearing what she was referencing, I understand why she couldn't put certain songs out because it was putting, she hadn't, revealed some things. But I love a good Cardi stripper track. Yeah. I love a good, I think this album has workout tracks, stripper tracks, getting ready to go outside tracks. And so, this is a good clapper anthem.
Yeah. I think though, to your point, that's a low light for me again, right? Is that I can tell when they went and grabbed specific, okay, we need a girl joint that teenage girls are going to like. Okay, we need a song for the strip clubs. Okay, we need a song for the streets. Okay, like it just feels so formulaic.
You think it's that, or do you think that's more of a reflection of, I think Cardi is still showing that she's still connected to, even if she's not actively doing certain things, that's a part of her makeup. She's not going to leave that just because it's her second album.
I don't think it's so much about leaving it. I think it's more about feeling like you're being original, and this is something coming out of your own creativity versus picking up a song that somebody else wrote off of a shelf and going, we can plug that in here and it'll work for the X. And I felt like, and I'll talk about it when I talk about the next song, but I felt like, we give Drake this criticism of, we call him algorithmic, right? Like I've called him in the past peak algorithm rap, right? To where it's like, it's almost like you're like a white kid is like studying like a Twitter timeline, and then they're turning it into like songs, and so that they can spit your content back out to you because they know you're gonna like it.
Sure.
Like I feel like some of this like formula of like strip club record, street record, girl record, like it feels very algorithmic to me.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, but anyway, for me, the Hello song, I said it feels very Jeezy-ish.
She had a couple of,
it feels real.
I've heard some mashups,
and I feel like if it was the first song, just like you said, it wouldn't bother me as much. But you kind of bit Meek Mill on the first record, then the second record you doing the Jeezy song, like it's just like, all right, it's fine.
I think that's an interesting critique, mainly because I know rappers reference other rappers. Yes. Like there are some rappers that have a signature style. Like it's like that's it. You're never gonna take that away from them. I think maybe part of the plight of being a female rapper is that, you're in a male dominated industry as well. And so like your pull from reference, I mean, you can't really reference the girls because they beefing. All of them. You can't, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta, pull from whatever. So again, I get what you're saying. I wasn't thinking like, damn, that's Meek. Oh, that's Jeezy. I thought like, oh, that's dope. If he wanted to jump on, that would be lit. You know what I'm saying?
The first half, I just kept hearing like, oh, that's this person. Oh, that's this person. In a way that, it used to really bother me about Logic, the rapper Logic. I think he's very talented, but it's like, you would hear like he had a whole project where he was just doing his best Kendrick Lamar impression, and it's like, my nigga, like yourself, you know what I'm saying? So again, like this Hello song, it doesn't do anything for me, but I get what it is. It's just now I'm like, okay, now I want to hear you, Cardi, like, cool, like we did our Meek song, we did our Jeezy song, and again, I think you're right, it would have been a good first song. I think she wanted to do the Get Up 10 thing again, and that's how she wanted to start it. So then she made Hello second, but say hello at the beginning.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they thought it was too cliche in terms of the sequencing. I felt like that could have been a single as well, especially because she hadn't been out for a while.
I think if she got a feature on it, it could have been a single, but I think it just sounds too Jeezy-ish for just be her, to me. I don't know. Anyway, all right, song 3, Magnet.
I mean, Magnet is pretty dope. Magnet is when she starts getting a little more specific. I really like the writing in Magnet.
Okay.
Even like in the hook,
shout out to Jordan, Partisan Fontaine.
Yeah. So now he said she writes her stuff. Don't do her like that.
Oh, I mean, he's listed on. I'm looking at the writers from Wikipedia. His name is on here.
I know that was some of the retort. He said she writes her stuff, and he just kind of helps her edit. But I think Magnet is one of those. She gets a little more specific. She's getting into whoever's been talking about her, and it's to a dope beat. And I'm gonna be honest, like in terms of, I mean, I know not really to get too much into beef, but like with female rap artists, you don't really see, I mean, we've obviously heard tracks, but they've never been, I don't know, the flow has never been consistent, like, or people respond, but then they respond in different ways. They're responding on social media or whatever.
Exactly. You're right.
What I appreciated about this track in particular is that, like I said, she waited. She wasn't giving out her best lines, on X. She said, I got this for a year, right? Okay. Whereas I have seen, some other artists, they basically regurgitated what they put, on social media. So it almost seemed like they were vetting it.
Yeah, that's true.
In this instance, she was like, oh, nah.
That's fair.
I got that. So I appreciated Magnet.
Okay. I felt like... this trap bag felt like, okay, yeah, we're like, this is the current sound that we want to gravitate towards. And the whole first half kind of maybe centered around this sound, which was fine. But man, this is where I really started to feel like this algorithm thing, like, particularly the words belt to ass. And she said it many times, like she like that was a refrain in the song. And I'm just like, nobody really talks like that. Like that's like a Twitter-ism that people will be like, oh yeah, belt to ass, like, we beat your football team. Yo, it was belt to ass. Like it's like a joke. Like it felt so like, it's just the writing felt so algorithmic to me. Like it didn't feel like it came from Cardi at all.
Interesting. Okay. I guess I dabble in that thing, so I didn't catch, belt. Yeah, belt. I mean, I've heard belt to ass. I thought it was interesting that she used it. But I think it's more of her just talking shit.
I feel like people
or trying to connect in that way.
I feel like people don't say that in real life. Like they'd be like, man, yo, the Eagles got they ass whipped on Thursday. It was belt to ass.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Right. I don't know. Anyway, this song, like that kind of really just like low hanging fruit algorithm writing really bothered me.
You think it was low? Okay.
I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
There's certain little like phrases that you'll hear a lot, like just like on Twitter or like stuff like that. And I felt like I heard them like littered throughout the album.
Just dropped in the
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Okay.
Yeah. Which I mean, maybe Cardi really talks like that. I don't know, but
I mean, she is in all of the spaces. So
yeah. All right. So song 4, Pick It Up, featuring Selena Gomez.
So that was kind of like a pleasant surprise. I could have seen that being a single, actually, or like a release. It felt that felt like the most teeny. But listen, I don't know that Cardi is really for the kids per se in that regard, but I feel like that song, even more so the beat of it felt very like light, teeny bop.
Yeah.
Whatever. I appreciate it because it was just like a different sound. Yeah. And I don't think I've heard of Selena Gomez's like her voice, but I liked hearing it in that space. So
I mean, they say she really can sing. I'm not really super familiar with her music, but they say that she has a great voice. But man, I hate this song. I hate everything about this song.
It was cutesy.
I hate it so much. And the funny thing is, right?
Like you hate.
I hate this as much as Kendrick hates Drake.
I was going to say you hate the way. Okay.
I hate the way that she talks. I hate the way she dressed. I hate all of it. No, but this song really reminds me of the ringtone era. And go ahead.
I was going to say, it reminds me of that, but not in a terrible way.
And I really hated the ringtone era. And one of the reasons I really hated the ringtone era was because at that point we weren't making music to be good. We were making music so that it could be used to be a specific product. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, even my guy Vince Staples, who I love, and I even like the album. He said, one of his albums, they did it entirely for sync licensing. Every single song is like, okay, we can sync that for a car commercial. We can sync that for an auto commercial, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't like when we as creatives create something just to be commoditized. And this song just sounds like, once again, like some pre-made record somewhere. I could hear Pink Pantheress on this. I could hear anybody, like you could literally just put anybody on this. You copy and paste it. It's for teens. So this is our teeny bopper record.
Yeah.
We got the club, we got the streets, we got the teeny boppers. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels so just pre-made and just a product, like for the purpose of being a product. I hate it.
So how did you feel about Nokia?
I think that as a piece of music, I think it's cool. Like it's cute, it's catchy, but I don't like the kind of the fact that it's called Nokia and then who's calling my phone and they like, because that's clearly like done to be a product.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to beat up on Drake because I feel like I've been told that I beat up on him too much on that episode. So I think Nokia is a much better song than this.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that they were on the same caliber. I don't know. I think it was a different. Again, part of your critique is that she kind of went for some formula, like some, this is a recipe for X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I think this is a different sound. Like I didn't hear this on her last
That's true.
album.
That's true.
So
But
I
her last
think,
album was good, and this is bad.
yeah.
Sorry.
So I think too. I'm always gonna have space for an artist kind of
Yeah.
experimenting with different things, because then
Mhm.
she might have heard and said, "Okay, I put this out there, and I
Yeah.
experimented with it. Maybe we won't do that next time." So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I don't fault Cardi, because Cardi raps, but she's not an artist by trade. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
music is
yeah,
not her medium.
yeah.
If you're an artist who has a team and you're trying to make money, and somebody comes to you with a Selena Gomez track, you take that shit.
Yeah.
You take that shit 10 times out of 9, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I get it. Like, from a monetary perspective and all that, it makes sense. But I fucking hate this song. It sounds terrible. So, I don't know. Anyway,
So
yeah, it might be a -1 out of 10 for me. All right. And again, yo, I realize I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way back and preface my words as this is just my opinion.
yeah.
Everybody that I've seen has said that this album is great and amazing. So my opinion may be an unpopular one, but I'm just being honest and listening to
Well, I
to,
mean,
to the
I think it
songs.
just depends on your criteria and
Yeah.
how you value music. So yeah.
But I mean, even I think I listened to the Joe Budden podcast, and I heard them talk about it, and they called it like the glazing podcast, and they just talked about how much they love the album from top to bottom. So I know that my opinion may be an unpopular.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm surprised, because I've heard some of their feedback leading up to the release of it. So I thought they were gonna rip it up, like
no, they
rip it
loved
apart.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And also, though, they got industry relationships. So somebody may have made the call.
Well,
Ayo.
Well, I mean, it sounded like they didn't care for a while, so that's why I was actually surprised that they had such positive things to say.
Sometimes you get that phone call,
I
or
mean,
that knock on the door.
You know,
Hey, go ahead and log out for me.
right.
But all right, imaginary players. This will be fun. This will be fun to talk about.
So I will say, now I didn't have the same vitriol that you did when it was released.
I'm a very passionate music fan.
I just was more like, oh, okay. I will say that, like I said, the low light was the release or the sequencing of what she put out as like singles or whatever. This could have easily just been a throwaway in a sense. Like, there are tracks that she did, over the course of the 7 years that did not make it, onto this project. I appreciated the bravado of it. And I know that she was referencing Jay. I feel like she was trying to pay homage. I feel like she was trying to channel that aspect of being a rapper, specifically from New York. And then also the fashion. I mean, you could say quite a few things about Cardi, about Belcalis, but you cannot talk about her fashion. Like, she's absolutely an icon. And I don't know. Like, I thought the video was nostalgic. The visual of it was kind of like nostalgic old music videos that we used to watch. So I feel like it was her attempt at doing that. I know that people have feedback on like how she enunciates words, but I mean,
that's just how she talks.
That's just how she talks. So I think again, it was her trying to experiment. And I think, one thing, you've noted, her approach to certain things being a formula. But I think that a lot of artists don't experiment out loud and put it out there because they have to have a return. And so I'm not gonna ding her for it. It might be like, I mean, you could put that on a mixtape. Yeah. In the sequence of this album, though, I actually appreciated it in the flow of the overall project. So that's how I feel about Imaginary Plays.
That's what's up.
So how do you feel about it now that you've heard it?
So I actually agree with you. In that I wrote here, I never thought I would say this. It was refreshing.
That's really why I came in here today.
It was refreshing when I got to this song, but that's not a good thing. It's a good thing about the song, but it's a bad thing about everything else. This felt like the first like curveball or experiment or risk that I heard on the album. And so, I feel like before this, I'm hearing all these kind of pre-made songs that sound like everybody else. And then I get Imaginary Players where, as you said, like, this feels like, yo, I'm from New York and I'm going to take the song from New York that I like and I'm just going to do my own take on it.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of liked that. Like, I was like, okay, like, she's doing something that may just be like something she likes, as opposed to something that the label said, oh, we need a street record. Oh, we need a club record. This is not a formula. So that was why it was refreshing to me. Yeah. But then if y'all want to hear about how I feel about the song by itself, you can go back to the episode where we talked about that. All right, Bodega Baddie.
Now, this is when I was like, oh, she definitely went back to her formula to a certain extent. But I love it. I love whenever she can incorporate elements of her culture into the track. I had a little bachata in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? I thought that the breakdown or the before they went to the hook was kind of, I don't know, it just felt very animated, and I feel like Cardi is a very animated person.
True.
And so I appreciated the energy of that specifically. So I you know, I have a different feeling about approach and formula than you do. So like I'm not mad at it. And did she release that?
I don't think she has yet,
She
but
kind of
it
like released
feels
it as
like
like a little snippet, and then kind of
okay.
like she pulled it back. So I
It feels
don't know
like
what
that's
that was
gonna. It
about.
feels like that's
Yeah,
gonna be a single.
yeah,
At least like a like pushed up north.
yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the song is fine. You know, there's certain things that like I feel like I know it's not for me, but I
Yeah.
know what it is, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, and that's what this feels like. It's fine.
It
Like
feels like
it's
the other side of
good.
New York,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It feels like, yo, this is my tri-state area record.
Uh-huh.
Like, yo, we about to go in and whatever. And I like that. The one thing that I will say is that for a novelty record, because
Yeah.
sometimes I love novelty records, sometimes I hate them. I think that I like it was a novelty record on the last album, but I actually enjoyed that record. And like I personally would listen to that.
Yeah.
I would not personally listen to Bodega Baddie, but I respect it. I know what it is.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I like it like that. Felt a little more, I think it was like production wise or composition wise, it probably is a better record. But that felt a little more cliche
Yeah.
because specifically the song I like it like that. This one feels like, oh, this is, I don't know if it's a deep cut,
Specific. Yeah.
but it was like, oh no, this is, if you get it, you get it. You
Uh-huh.
know, this is for you. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I have to, to piggyback on your point. I have to say that, I said this on the Fabulous episode. We talked about Fabulous, and I said, yo, Fabulous is a West Indian dude from Brooklyn. I
yeah.
would have loved to have a record on here where he told us what being a West Indian dude from Brooklyn is like. And so I typically want people to draw from their cultural heritage, and I feel like this is Cardi doing that. So
Yeah.
I can't be a dickhead and say that it's
like, hate it.
bad. Yeah, like it's fine. It's just not for me. But
It's cool.
fine.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Listen, back to my stripper tracks. And also, I mean, that's the Get Ready joint. I don't know, I just like when Cardi talking shit. And it's because of where she came from, and it's because everybody counted her out, and they still, still talking shit about her. And so I like that even though people do that, she still has anthems that are kind of uplifting. Like, listen, I got this. You need to put this on. Go make some money. You know what I'm saying? If she ever needed to go back, she got her own soundtrack.
So you really think that this? I don't remember the specific lyrics, but you really think that this was her like strippers? Like, let's
salute
get
the
motivated.
real, salute the real bitches.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you, maybe I resonate because I'm,
you're a real one.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I did not like this song. The reason though is because I really like the beat, but the beat is two different beats that I already like from other artists, and they put them together. So there's there's like an ocarina sounding like keyboard sound.
Yeah,
that's from like I don't even know if it's a Gucci song or some other song that I like. And then the 808 is like a specific 808 arrangement from another song that I already like.
Yeah.
So the beat is kind of reheated, but that's fine. And then I just felt like the hook was very repetitive. Like to the point where I'm just like, all right, cool, salute, whatever else, So, but I mean, it's fine.
Like, I mean, I don't think it was one of the strongest tracks, but like, I'm not mad at it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that might have been what I was referencing. Like, there were a few where it's like, okay, this is kind of in the same vein. Maybe we either consolidate or get rid of, but I'm also not mad that it's on the project.
Yeah. And maybe, if I go back to Lowlights, like maybe for me the arrangement is a low light, just because like the sequencing, like, it feels like there's so many of these songs that are like in the same vein of just like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real.
All right. So next song is Safe featuring Kalani.
So I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really care for, like, I understand the commercial appeal because Kehlani is killing it right now.
Yes, she is. Yo, and Folded, give that joint all the awards.
All the
things. All the awards, give her all of them. She's having a banner year this
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah. And I know that they collaborated, on the first project. I think she was trying to possibly honor those who kind of believed in her in the first thing. This is obviously my interpretation. Cardi didn't say this, but like it's like, oh, we did this project before, let's do a little something.
Yeah.
I understood the concept of it, and that was cool. And I do appreciate Cardi's vulnerability and what she, I'm glad that the whole album was not about her ex
that's
husband.
Right.
But also if therapy, whatever. But I liked, from a content standpoint, I liked what she was talking about. Maybe I just didn't really care for the execution too much.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that content wise, like this is some of what we want to hear from her.
Right.
In that, just like you said, like there's enough looking back, I'm petty, whatever.
Yeah.
But then like you also want some like problem solving, how we want to move on to the next thing. I think also from the marketing perspective, people want to hear how she's liking her new relationship. So she's able to capitalize off that. But man, this song to me is just so mid. And it sounds like any other Cash Cobain beat.
Yeah.
And then, like you just tacked Kehlani on it. And Kehlani. I really like Kehlani. So I feel like I would use her on something that I like more. But this feels so formulaic that I feel like they knew it was gonna work.
Yeah.
So they just put her on a record that they knew they could push out there.
Now, if we're doing Cardi versus Cardi, then Ring 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 blows this out.
Yeah.
Like I don't but yeah.
Like I just feel like I get what you're trying to do, because I also see things as a DJ. So I know that as a DJ, if I'm gonna play these other Cash Cobain songs, then I can just put that in the set. Right. So like they're thinking from the perspective of like, how are we gonna roll this out? But just as a piece of music, it's very mediocre to me. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, but I do hope that her new relationship makes her feel safe, and I think that that's very important for people to feel safe. let's not go there.
She's glowing.
Let's close that door.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to say.
All right. Next track, Man of Your Word. I talked about it a little bit, but feel free. Featuring Dougie F.
I think that I'm trying to speak about Cardi in the context of Cardi and not of anybody else. Even though many have tried to do things in the context of hers. We heard, Offset's musical references to the relationship that were not necessarily, they weren't very kind and very kind of like.
I feel like more recently he's been really more kind and stuff.
How are we defining kind?
He's been going on podcasts talking about taking accountability for his own behavior.
Yeah, but that's not in that can be played in the like. But he put the other shit in the song though. Yeah. That can be played.
Well, have you heard his album though?
I need to listen to it.
Take us on a tangent, but on the album, like he's like taking accountability and wishing her the best and saying,
So maybe just in terms of what was released, and,
the earlier stuff when they were going back.
But so I think in terms of I'm glad that she didn't harp on, even if she wanted to, that was very much her right. And I think that's probably what played a role in when she released everything and what was going to be on there.
Yeah.
I love the vulnerability of this. I mean, you can tell that she really wrestled with walking away from this marriage, and even just she took accountability, in this song as well, about not necessarily being there when he needed her to be, or, whatever she was saying. I will say that I agree in terms of the hook does sound a little disjointed, but then it was like, well, maybe it's just like the male, perspective, and, that's kind of like that back and forth, like that play. Is it something that I want to hear all the time? Nah, but it was like, okay, Cardi, like you addressed it and now you can move on.
Yeah.
And I'll just take it for that. So I'm not,
yeah. I mean, I spoke on my thoughts earlier, but I don't like this song. I do think that the fact that you can tell that it was a song written by and for a man, and they flipped it, but it's in the body of what this is a little annoying. But I do agree with you though that like subject matter wise, this is like really foundational to kind of Cardi actually really because honestly, if there's 17 songs on here, 15 of them are about I'm petty, y'all are haters, fuck y'all bitches, I'm the best bitch. So it's good to have like some records that like are really talking about things that we unfortunately already know about her private life. You know what I mean? So I do like that subject matter.
Yeah, it feels like she buttoned it up. I hope we won't hear anything
so
else.
hopefully we can
just, move on.
Yeah. Track 10 is What's Going On featuring Lizzo.
So listen, I don't know.
So listen is a funny way to start.
I have a very interesting relationship or love-hate relationship with Lizzo's music in particular. It was not a collaboration that I saw in the, but I like see this. I feel like if you're gonna release this feels like a commercial release
for sure.
But I'm not mad at it. Like I like the use of the song. She had, she did her little Cardi hook. She was kind of talking about the, the plight and the complexities of being in a relationship. You feel like something is off. And yeah, I think she did a good job of kind of articulating or illustrating what that's like. And then putting it with the track. Do I get up and say, "Oh, let me listen to this"? Nah, but I was like, "Oh, okay, that's dope." Okay,
yeah. I think that maybe, and again, I'm a dude, so unfortunately, like I can only
guys
try to.
Don't feel
No. Let me finish, right? I'm a dude, so like sometimes I try to like maybe empathize or understand like what a woman's experience is, but I can only understand so much. But I feel like I've heard some women voice like that they really resonate with what this song is about. Like specifically, I think she has a bar where she says something about like, when you walk by, you don't pat me on my ass, like, right? Like, and I feel like that's like that's very relatable,
right? It is.
You know what I'm saying? So like, so I love that, but I think this song fucking sucks balls, man. This song is an audio hate crime. I hate everything about the way this song sounds, except the 808s. I wrote here, I pray that ICE never kidnaps me, ties me to a chair, and makes me listen to this song, because if so, I'm snitching on all you niggas. It was Mark. He's in apartment 4B. That nigga did that shit. He don't got no papers. Like, I'm sorry. This song is terrible. Like, this song is so bad. I'm sorry. And like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, we got the interpolation of another song, and then Lizzo brings her pop element to it. I hate this song. It's so bad.
So wait, so you don't like it at all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this is the worst song.
Okay, so you don't like the interpolation. You think this is the worst one?
I think this is the worst song.
On there?
Yeah. You think there's songs that are worse than this? I actually don't think there's many songs in the world that are worse than this.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm viewing it from the back of, again, I had no expectations. So like certain things like, okay, I mean, would I have done it? Nah. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe if this came out before Invasion of Privacy, I would probably.
You know what? Okay, this is where I am. Specifically with Lizzo, I'll listen to this from Lizzo. Okay. I don't listen I agree with Lizzo. That. You see what I'm saying?
If this was on a Lizzo album, I'd be like, this is some Lizzo ass shit.
So maybe for me, my scale is there's certain things that I can tolerate from people that I already just don't really like entertain. Okay. And so that's why I was like, all right, cool. But then also the content as well is,
But all right, so let's put this in a different context.
Okay.
Erykah Badu just came out with an album with Alchemist, right?
Yes.
Let's say she has a Lizzo track on there and it sounds like this. Would you say, well, I mean, it is Lizzo, so that's fine? Or would you be like, yo, I like Erykah Badu. I'm going to hold her to a standard of a real legitimate artist, and this is bad artistry?
I would say that if Erykah Badu chose to do a collaboration, then it's intentional, and I would try to hear where she was coming from with it, and I would try to view it from that palette instead of my personal opinion.
I think that I will hear what you're saying, and I will say that I would give Erykah Badu a lot more credit in that way than I would Cardi after hearing the first 12 tracks on here, or 10 tracks on here, because I heard so many records that sounded like they just went and got somebody else's shit and put it on their song, that I'm not looking at this like, oh, this was very intentional. Like, I'm looking at this like, oh, this is gonna go. We got Lizzo on it. Sorry.
I'm not even trying to change your mind. It's just like, oh, I guess, that is a way to consider.
Yeah.
So he didn't like it. I mean, I get it, but I'm not mad. Like, again, how many tracks are there? 17?
Yeah.
Would I say, like, in the completion of the entire project, like, oh, this absolutely has to be on here? Probably not. That could have been a Lucy, but I can also see this being a single.
Yeah.
See,
I agree with you.
So, like, when you talk about, like, even earlier, oh, this is so intentional for commercial release, blah, blah, blah. This is one of those things. Some of the other tracks I didn't necessarily agree with that about. Yeah. So I would definitely apply that to this.
Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes, like, for example, with Bodega Baddie, I don't prefer it, but I know what that is and I respect it.
Yeah.
This, I know what it is, but I don't respect it.
And you don't respect it.
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. Okay. Next song, Shower Tears featuring Summer Walker.
I think I like this collab with Summer Walker the best out of how many were there on?
Maybe
on this?
2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this might have been my favorite.
Yeah, just 2.
Yeah. It felt very R&B. Okay, well maybe this might not be good. I don't know. This is clearly Cardi's project, but it sounds like it could be an R&B track and she was featured on it. Like I feel like it could work either way.
Yeah.
I think that's mutually beneficial for both of them in terms of this track. I think this is a stronger track for them.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like at some points it did kind of get a little repetitive with the concept or the theme, which makes me go back to the sequencing of I don't know, maybe if this was an earlier track, it probably would have resonated more. But I'm not mad at this. Yeah. I feel like I've said that a few times, but I'm actually not mad at this.
So I actually like this song. Yeah. This is the first song in the track listing where I was like,
surprise.
All right, like this is smooth. It felt to me like Cardi getting in Summer's bag, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I feel like Summer is very clearly influenced by Usher to the point where she even had him on her project.
Yes.
This is very much like you make me want a bag of like Summer, right? Like I think she even kind of redid that song before, right?
Yeah.
So this is that Summer bag, and then Cardi's just on it. It works. Like I think it sounds good. It's well produced. It's well mixed. Like I'm cool with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say out of the collaborations on this album, I would probably take this over the Kehlani one.
Oh yeah, for sure. For me, musically. However, I get what they're what they were doing with the Kehlani.
Yeah.
And with the run she's on right now, if I'm the label, I'm pushing the button on the Kehlani.
It was super. No, it was smart. We're
putting that out.
But it was calculated.
It may not be better, but we still putting it out. Yeah. So cool. All right, next song is Outside. I don't know if you have thoughts on it or I mean,
listen, what I will say is that I think that Cardi does a great job with I don't want to necessarily say an outside anthem. I wish it was released sooner. And I wish they leaned into it, but I feel like there was, in terms of the announcement of like the releasing of the project, I just feel like there was some trepidation that got in the way of her really, which understood, not even, it's more of an observation than a critique. I feel like in the context of understanding what was happening socially, and when this was released, she was tired of Offset shit and was like, listen, let me run this. Let me just drop this real quick. So in the context of this, I'm cool. Like, I mean, and she has some bars in here too that are, she has some catchy bars like throughout.
Completely agree. And I don't know if she is even cool with this person, but like, for me, I don't even really have anything to say about the 3 records that we heard many years ago, right? So I'm not going to say anything about WAP. I'm not going to say anything about Up. Outside, I almost kind of feel the same way. Like I feel like it's in that bank of things. She's described this as, these songs did not have a home, so I wanted them to have a home. I described this as, the label wanted this to go platinum in 24 hours, and so they put these songs on there. Fine. I don't really care about the label game so much in this case. But if it were me, I would have had her go and get Glorilla to do a verse on this, make it a remix and put it out, just because like it would be nice to give it some fresh energy because we heard it so long ago. That's my only like kind of criticism or whatever you want to call it.
I think that's a fair critique. I'm not sure what the dynamics are, because there was last year there was a nice rotation and run with certain collaborations of female rap artists.
It was like so refreshing for a little while.
And it was like there, yeah. And so I'm wondering if that might have played a role.
But even Adochi, right? Like and I mean like go get somebody who is another hot woman and kill this joint and give it fresh energy,
revive it.
Because I mean, we didn't heard this already.
Valid.
But it's fine. It's cool. I never really hated or loved the song. It's just cool, and I get what it is.
I felt like she was getting her bearings back with this one,
and like it worked enough. It wasn't Up or Bodak Yellow or whatever, but it worked.
Yeah, and I think I think that is kind of goes into what I was saying before about the singles that she released. They were kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And so it was, I don't think it built gave the proper build to the anticipation for the album. So
Yeah.
like I thought this was solid, but then she came out I think with Imaginary Players after, and then something else, and it was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, what are we
So
doing?
Outside sounded strong, and then Imaginary Players kind
Yeah.
of by itself was like, whoa.
What are we
And then,
doing?
so
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so next is Pretty and Petty.
This is one of those, listen, if you gonna talk your shit, I thought Magnet was specific. Pretty and Petty.
Yeah.
I mean, she gave her warnings before, like don't mention her kids, and you see what happens. I will say, in the context of battle, or like if we want to go through the timeline of releases and songs or whatever, all of her references and her disses towards Bia have been fire. I mean, even in her feature.
You like Diarrhea Bia?
Well, I think Diarrhea Bia plays into when you say it like that. I think it plays into
Sorry.
Cardi as who she is. Like Cardi is a funny person. She's so. I mean that felt very like playground, like whatever. Like we run in the dozens, whatever, okay. Right? But I also, in the context of the entire song, I mean, she kind of read her she read her properly. I mean, so Cardi had her reference to Bia when she was featured on, I think it was Glow's song, and then Bia responded. It wasn't a very strong response, and Cardi kept quiet, and then this was her response to it. And so I think that if you're not going to say anything for a while, then this is how you this is the proper response. Maybe she addresses it again, or maybe she just leaves it alone and leaves it on the floor. So
yeah. I think that
you hated Diarrhea Bia.
I don't like that, but I agree with you. Like, it's fine. Yeah, I feel like these themes are very repetitive on the album, but I like that this song puts a name on the bullet. Because I just like that, because I feel like there was a whole lot of, they hating on me, they blah blah blah, and so this was like, no, you.
Yeah.
And she really did get at her. My only, I guess, criticism, if I have to call it that,
okay,
is I just feels like reheated beef. It's like,
so?
You said something about me 3 years ago, and I've been waiting for 3 years to finally get back at you, and this is what I'm gonna say. I got a whole track for you. It's like, girl, like I'm 3 years older. I'm married. I don't even rap anymore. Like,
I feel like it's within the last year.
Yeah. The Bia thing was a minute ago.
No. That was within a year or so. The beef happened because they both sampled Missy's bitch.
Yeah,
and so Bia basically said
she's a bitch starts from like 2-3 years ago.
Right, but then Cardi did one. I mean, when did Cardi release that? What was it, enough?
22.
So like, okay, but see,
let me look it up just so you can keep
now.
going.
Here's where I'm gonna kind of be like, it's because there are other rap beefs that have gone on over the course of multiple years where things were referenced, some directly and some not, and nobody said, "Oh man, you pulling shit up from 3 years ago. I don't know why you talking about it now."
Yeah.
So I don't really, you get it when you get it. Now.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. It's cool.
I think I also enjoy it because when we talk about conflicts or whatever in music, there's a lot of throwing rocks and hiding hands.
True.
And I appreciate that she.
Okay, it's only been a year. I'm sorry. It says
I was like,
well, March 2024.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I felt like it was still relatively new, and she wasn't necessarily dragging it.
Because that was the record, right? Enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enough was the record. And then, there was some conversation or commentary after that, and some speculation, possibly some potential lawsuits, if I'm not mistaken, or, some things that were. So I think that given all the things that Cardi was navigating within that year, we hear it now. She might have wrote it a while ago, you know what I'm saying, and just waited to release it on this project. So.
Yeah. It seems like that's essentially what she was saying.
And I will say too, in terms of beef tracks, we don't really. I don't know. I just feel like the beef between Drake and Kendrick was so, I don't know, it was a little satisfying. It was a little, it definitely did something for the culture. But I also think in terms of female rap beef, it's always been a little lackluster, or kind of been off.
That's
right?
Fair. That's fair.
And so I feel like, because I think some of the commentary towards, or the assumptions that, Cardi doesn't write her own stuff or whatever, I don't think they anticipated her getting at somebody directly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so I actually commend her for saying names, or even the illusions, but even if I'm gonna write a track, if I'm gonna do a diss track, this is what the track is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? That and Magnet. So I think I don't really see other I haven't really seen that.
Okay.
I think, between Lotto and Ice Spice, they tried a little bit. There were some references, but I think in terms of,
and then they pulled up on each other block.
Right. But I think in terms of like tier, I like it. It's direct. And also,
like
the last, I guess, rap beef encounter we had, it wasn't, I think Meg was direct. Well, I don't know if she was direct, but it was easy to assume certain things. And then even the response to that was not necessarily, so I think that in terms of, I don't know, it was just kind of refreshing. That's my long way of saying.
Okay. I didn't feel it was refreshing, but I did like that she put a name on a bullet.
Yeah.
And I would love to kind of, if I can keep it in my mind, revisit if this is considered like a beef track, like a diss track that we come back to, or it's just she just kind of said the name and then we moved on. I don't know.
Well, she did more than say the name. Like you
said a lot.
Yeah, she really, it was very specific to Bia. So I don't even think it can be seen as like a general
and all right
beef track.
Here's my last thing, and I'm prefacing this, I'm prefacing this as I try to stay out of Black women's business. I also try to stay out of Latino women's business, Hispanic women's business, and all the other people's business. However, like, okay, do people with a lot of cosmetic surgeries, like, is it okay for them to spend a lot of time talking about how other people look in terms of being ugly or being pretty or whatever?
So I am not really a fan of double standard or like whatever. I don't know. I guess it depends on your criteria for beef. I prefer if somebody can diss you and it's true and there's no like fabrication to it, I feel like that's lit. But if there's anything that can be said that can come back to you or whatever, but I don't know. I think
because you have themes, you have themes on this track and others that are like,
like body shamey, whatever.
Yeah, like, yo, you're ugly, or how could you call me? I look like this, and I would never try to look like you. And it's
I would say that is valid. I think that's the petty in it. But I think also Cardi has never she's never hidden any of these things about her. So I think it's one of those things of like, 8 Mile, you can say all these things about me, I'm gonna say it first, or I'm saying it with the understanding that I know that you could say that about me, but I'm still saying it about you, type of thing.
Okay, because the one that I felt landed, and again,
dude in
women's business, and it definitely wasn't that.
Diarrhea Bia.
But the one where she basically said, like, why would I try to look like you? Because I feel like I remember Bia had a bar where she basically said, you got surgery to look like me. So that's like a direct response to that.
That was a very Spider-Man thing, because I feel like they were both doing and saying that about each other. And so it's kind of like, but y'all do low-key. Somehow y'all ended up in the same, like y'all do resemble feature-wise. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of trivial. But yeah. No, I mean, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. I'm stepping back out of
go step back. Yeah, I was just saying, go step back out.
Yeah, because it ain't my business. All right, Better Than You featuring Cash Cobain.
I didn't like this
Yeah.
song at all.
Yeah,
this might have been a throwaway for me so I like I said, I think it's pretty consistent. I like when you talk your shit. I think there are levels to talking shit. I like when you talk your shit because, like, you're not gonna tell me about myself. I'm not really a better than you talk my shit, because I feel like at any given moment you could be on the other side of that. But it's just it felt a little icky. I don't know. Like I didn't really care for it. I didn't need it on the thing. It's probably cool for other people, like maybe it resonates with somebody. It just wasn't for me in terms of all the other tracks. And it felt like the album is long, and this could have not been on there.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I said the song bored me, but it was more Cardi's performance and Cash Cobain than the beat. Actually, I think the beat's pretty cool. And Vinyls, is a dope producer. He's one of the producers on there. So anything I see with his name on it, I'm like, yo, he's done a lot of stuff for like Drake and some of the other talents. So the beat was cool, but the song was
the beat was cool, but that's all I got for that.
All right, On My Back featuring Lourdes, I think is how you say it.
I liked it. I'm trying to hear it in my head. I do. No, for real.
There are a lot of songs, so I get
it. Yeah. I think in terms of I didn't know this artist, so I like the track. I like the I guess the beat of it. I'm trying to think. This is probably where towards this part of the album is like, all right, like when we gonna
it is a long album.
When we gonna land this plane? Yeah. I thought it was solid, but like I don't go to listen to that one in particular.
Yeah. I said, if this was on like a Last Tech R&B playlist, like I wouldn't jump up and turn it off. It's fine.
Yes.
But I mean, I definitely would not like click over to try to listen to it.
Yeah, maybe like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, just something in the background. Like it's fine. And then the next one is Time.
Now I know you referenced that she sounded like Jeezy before, but this is the stripper outside clapper anthem.
Yeah. So you like it?
I think it should have been a single.
I actually think that it might be a single.
Okay, but
you know what I mean, like it sounds like it was made for that purpose.
Yeah, I would have preferred her release this instead of Imaginary Players, basically, to get people excited. So I like this, and I've already heard some mashups.
Okay.
With it, and it matches up very well.
Yeah.
So yeah. I actually might take this track over a couple of other ones that I said were stripper anthems.
I said this is the best of the net new club records on this project.
Yeah.
It does sound like a lot of other songs in the subgenre, but I think out of all of them, this is the stripper club and whatever that I think could go. Yeah. It just musically it just sounds like it fits.
Yeah. If we were to audit this track list, this would stay. Check Please has this might be a morning affirmation for me, because there's this one line, I've been feeling like a bad bitch all goddamn day, and it's like an earworm. Okay. And so this is the type of shit talking again that I like. So I like Check. I mean, maybe the hook seems a little simple or whatever.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like when she gets into her bag and she's like, I guess this would be kind of considered a performance flow as well. I would take this one over the other track that I was like, what was it? The Cobain. So
because Cash Cobain,
yeah, I would take this over that.
I would take it over that too.
Yeah.
But I think just I don't love the writing on here. Like I don't like the little like let's go something let's go. It just that particular device got repetitive and it annoyed me a little bit, and I didn't like the hook either.
It's earwormy.
Yeah.
And now I will say, I don't know if
the beat is fire though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the above. So I would say that some of the things that you critiqued earlier in terms of, they put this out and it's catchy and blah, blah, blah. This song, I think, kind of checks all of those boxes in the sense that I've seen it on TikTok. My favorite snippet has become it's a morning affirmation. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm going out and I'm going to do I'm going to lip sync to this particular portion. So I think this, out of all of the other ones, like when you dissing somebody on a track, you can't really like play that in your video in the background. You know what I'm saying? This is one where it feels more for the socials, more for that kind of thing, but like not in a cheesy way. Although you might disagree, but not in a cheesy way based on how.
I don't find it cheesy. I find it fine. Again, right now we're on track 17 now, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little fatigued just from what's happening before. The beat is fire. The flow's fine. But you're probably right in terms of like who it's targeted for and like what it's for.
Yeah.
It just may not resonate specifically with me.
I think I also appreciate the cadence and the lower register from her.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it feels different, but the placement, you are a little fatigued by the time you get to that. Yeah.
Okay, track 18 is Principal featuring Janet Jackson.
Now, I know she said it's featuring Janet.
It's so funny when she released the track list. Yeah. Immediately, I saw all the music publications going, "This is the first feature that Janet's done in X amount of years, and it's the first feature on a woman's track." And I was like, that is not a Janet Jackson feature. That is absolutely a sample. I knew that before it even came out, so I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah, I mean, I like the instrumental. I like the beat. It's cool. Like I like it's catchy. I sound like I don't like it. I like it. I was just disappointed that Janet wasn't actually on it because I wanted to see how she. Yeah, but also I was more so curious. Like, is she gonna be on it or is it gonna be the hook?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like the theme of the song. So like it's a cute little bop.
Where I actually really like this song. Like I felt like I was getting really tired. I heard Shower Tears and then I'm just hearing all these songs. I'm like, and then this one woke me up. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, this beat is great. Like, this is finally something I could rock to. I like how they sampled it. They chopped up Janet. Yeah. It's not an entirely novel concept because Kendrick kind of did the same thing with Drake back then, right? With the Janet. But this song feels like fresh and it has new energy and it feels like Cardi's like happy to be there. Like it all works together really well. This is probably my favorite song on here.
It's very catchy. It's very boppy. It's a bop.
Yeah. I mean, pleasure principle, like it works. We love Janet. Yeah. Like it's perfect.
And even the story on that as well. You know what? I think you would, in terms of the story that's told in this versus the one with Lizzo, I would take this one.
I don't even think I heard the story with Lizzo because that song is so
I think, the story that we don't have to revisit. Okay. Right. I'll spare you.
Next song is Trophies.
Trophies, I feel like is another. Damn, you know what? The more we talking, I'm like, this is a long album.
22 songs.
Yeah, but I think Trophies again could probably take the place of another song on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one feels like a more specific version of Dead in terms of who she might be addressing.
Okay.
So I'm not mad at that, but she ain't say a name. So I like this version of talking shit in terms of what she's actually been able to kind of get, in the process, especially because so many people counted her out. So
yeah. And this is now the second song in a run for me, and that pisses me off because I feel like there's so many things at the beginning of the album that I don't care about, and then now I hear like songs that I'm like why didn't we hear this earlier in the album? So Trophies I like Principles. I like how it goes into Trophies. Like it's cool, it's a cool little run.
Back to the sequencing for me.
So next song is Nice Guy, featuring Tyler.
It's cool. Like I feel like I'm clearly auditing. I'm editing her track list. I probably would have taken this over the Selena Gomez
for sure
track. Yeah. I think now I'm curious. I'm actually surprised this didn't kind of take off a little bit more because it is Tyler. But I know there's probably some mixed feelings and controversy around whatever. But I think it's a cute little catchy little something. But I would definitely take this over the Selena collab.
Completely agree. Yeah, I like this song. Again, this is my run. I know it's popular to hate Tyler right now, but like I don't have a problem with it. It sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean I can appreciate. I don't hate Tyler either. I think I can appreciate. I appreciate how she presented on this.
Yeah, I actually said she
almost
sounds
to the point where you don't know it's her.
A bit Mariah-ish.
Yeah,
like it's interesting because I've never heard her voice sound like that before.
Yeah,
she usually is a little more like she sounds more airy on this than she usually does, but she doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, I think it was a great use of her voice and collab.
Shout out to Tyler, man. Yeah. Don't let these people get you down. Keep going. All right, next song is Killing You Hoes, and this is the last of the songs that are fresh. Everything else is the previous one, but go ahead.
I'm hesitating because I'm also trying to remember. Okay, I remember the hook. It was cool. Like I think I just got tired. I like the track. I like the beat, but I don't know that it had to be on here.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that if I wasn't doing my own editing.
Yeah.
Because I honestly felt like this album could have been an EP, and Killing You Hoes would have to be on the EP. Like the song is good.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, there's so many more songs about the same thing way up in the track list.
Yeah.
That by the time you get to track 21, it's like, all right, bro, like you've been killing these hoes for 20 songs, bro.
I mean, she said I'm gonna give you 7 years worth of killing these hoes because they've been talking shit about me for 7 years.
3 songs per year.
I mean,
but no, this song I like more than some of the other ones. So that's my run is Principal, Trophies, Nice Guy, Killing You Hoes. I like that run.
No, that's a solid run.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and then the last 2 songs, right, or is it 2 or 3 that we've heard? Up and WAP. So I mean, I don't have much more to say about them, but I don't know if you do.
You know, honestly, I understand why they needed a home. Up was okay, was always just okay to me. Like I always felt like it was a catchy, whatever she had the music video, or whatever. I guess I just understand why they have a home. I don't, you know.
And you know, I know Panama loves this song Up. I think it's fine. It feels a bit algorithmic to me, similar to Belt to Ass. It's like people started saying, "Oh, up and it's stuck," and then it's like, okay, let's make a song called Up and it's stuck. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Same with WAP. Like, I mean, done and dusted. My only beef, if you want to call it that, has nothing to do with them and everything to do with the music industry. These games, I fucking hate all of them. I hate how Taylor Swift put the same album out 25 times to keep breaking
kinda
records.
Like padding.
I hate how Nicki be putting out these bundle packs. I hate how Chris Brown be putting out 45 song albums.
Yeah.
I hate how we have a song that came out 17 years ago and we put it on here, and then in 24 hours the album goes platinum because the song went platinum 25 years ago. I hate all of these industry and label games. I wish music like we could just make music and like music, and the songs that people really like do well, and the songs that we don't love so much, they go away. But unfortunately, the games are the games. The game is the game, and you got to play the game. So kudos to Cardi and her team for playing the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with that in regards to the game and having to pad, you know, your albums and your projects and whatnot. Because, but and also, I mean, there were some Lucy's that she had that she didn't add to this project, and she had a reason. Yeah, I think
just the
was it just enough?
one. Yeah, that's the only one that.
Was there another?
I
feel like there was another one
outside. It's on here.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
it felt like more.
I mean, she did a lot of features. Like
maybe that's what it was.
Features.
Okay, that's what it was. Now I will say, yes, I agree with everything that you're saying in terms of the games that you have to play in order to. I mean, technically a win is a win, I guess, in that regard. Yeah. Now, I think some tactics are a little more messed up than others. Like, if my song was successful, then it was successful, and add that to it. Like, that counts. I could see if she was releasing, like, different interpolations and different album covers. Well, I think she did, actually. Did she have different album
She did, like, covers? A funny thing, which I thought was really funny, where she took pictures from her court case, and then she printed them like they were the album covers. I thought that was cute.
You know, I actually should have started with, I really appreciated her work ethic towards the release and promotion of this album, because it kind of went back to the tradition of what it was like to get out there. And one would assume that somebody of this caliber, even though she only released one album, but she's a Grammy winner, she's had all these features, she could have easily just been like, oh, my album comes out next week.
Yeah.
But her kind of hitting the pavement running and really still engaging and whatever. I don't know. I want Cardi to always be good.
Yeah.
I think she's very endearing in that regard. So I probably should have said that was a highlight, but not necessarily, that wasn't an album.
Right. I probably should have said that as well. Yeah. I completely agree. And I think that, it's interesting. She also does a good job of flipping things when somebody says something about her. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody said something about her in oh yeah, the label, they want to drop her. She better do this or she's not even going to be able to pay for something. I don't remember what it was. And so she flips that on its head, and she's standing out on 1/2 with her album. If y'all don't buy it, I'm not going to be able to feed my kids. She did a really, really good job of promoting it.
And I don't know if you noticed, but there were other people that tried to kind of bite what she was doing.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kind of hitting the Offset tried to bite. Really? He was in New York trying to promote in the streets where and I said, man, you do that at home. Right. Why you in her hometown? Why are you doing that?
Right.
Just there were a couple of other people that they couldn't do it exactly like that, but I definitely noticed that they were trying to reheat her nachos in that regard. That's what the children say.
She did a great job.
Reheat the nachos. So I think if anything, maybe that's why I have a little more, I don't want to say grace, but I think in terms of being an artist, I think Cardi might not be I wanted this since I was a kid. I always dreamed about being an artist. But I think if this is what you're going to turn, the career path that you're going to switch to, I think she's done an excellent job. And I think she's done better than people who claim that this is, what they always wanted to do. So, and then last thing about WAP, I actually have a newfound appreciation for WAP.
Really?
Again.
Just from listening, because you haven't heard it for so long.
Just because I hadn't heard it, I didn't really feel like it needed to be on the album, but I understood why they added it to it. I loved, that was a great collaboration with her and Meg.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I completely agree that it was a great collaboration with her and Meg. I've talked about my thoughts about it back then, and I don't have to reheat them. But why didn't she just get Meg and do another song?
I'm curious. I thought I questioned the same
Yeah, it would have been
thing,
cool to hear something
and
fresh with
I
Meg.
don't
It
know if
worked. It worked last time.
yeah, and I don't know if it was a timing thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's that I think, and maybe they might, but that is good. I thought the same
Because
thing.
you're right. It actually throws back to an era where the girlies were all getting along and they were killing shit. And it's like, yo,
Yeah.
like you go back and you listen to that and you're like, oh yeah, that was a crazy time.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Maybe they
yeah.
will. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, any other thoughts about the album?
Congrats to Cardi on success of I would say this is a successful sophomore project, even though I had some edits. But I think the overall, well, I was gonna say overall consensus. My opinion and consensus
Your own consensus
is that, I think she did a great job.
Yeah.
Again, I was very curious how this was gonna go after a 7-year, break or whatever. And I think it was just a strong showing on her part. So I'm still listening to it. Definitely on the workout playlist.
Yeah. I don't necessarily agree.
Yeah.
What I will say, this does seem to be successful in terms of sales. And I don't think it's a total like sophomore, crash. Like nobody's gonna say this is as awful or that, you hit the sophomore jinx. So that's a positive thing. If I were to talk to Cardi, I would say, don't let the label force you to do something. And I understand a little bit why maybe she was apprehensive about putting this out, right? Like it does feel like the label was like, yo, we got it here. And she was probably like, I don't like some of these more mailed in songs. Like I really want to tell my story. And she does tell her story on a few songs.
Yeah.
But like, yo, like, all right, now hopefully you've met the label's obligation. Y'all can say that you have a win in terms of sales and stuff like that. I would love to hear Cardi like experiment. And I don't necessarily know what that sounds like. She clearly has a writing team, she has a production team that we're seeing on all these songs. Can we go away and really like try to create something that is maybe more groundbreaking or maybe more your own lane of something?
Yeah.
I would love to see what that looks like from Cardi.
Yeah, maybe she can now. I mean, in the same way, no, not the same artist, but some artists have to like pay their dues,
Right.
maybe she felt like she had to make more concessions because of the amount of time that passed, even though she'd done all those collaborations. So I agree. I can see. I'm very curious to see if and how she evolves. And
I mean, because after this album comes out, she's like, I'm gonna have my baby and then I'm gonna get out on the road, right? So now you got your baby time. You got now you're on the road, so now you're touring. So we're not expecting any new music from you because you're working. Maybe like start to strategize, and you're gonna have new experiences. Now you're a mom for the second time. You're touring mom. You hopefully moved on and are having lovely
she might have some new content.
Well, I'm not even going to speak on that. I'm staying away from that. Hopefully she's having healthy and happy relationships.
Let me clarify. That wasn't even a shady statement. It was more so in the sense of she's evolved from, if you think about her first album, she was coming in, she was a newcomer, she came in pregnant, then she got married, then so much of her career revolved around her relationship with that specific person, and then lifestyle and whatever. So I think now she'll have new content because that's not really the focus.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Even regardless of who her partner is or who her partners are or whatever, not even necessarily in that, but just in terms of evolving as a now I'm on the other side of the hump in that
new
regard.
life experience. And everything. And so I think maybe that puts her in a space to be able to do that. I also don't know what her label obligation was.
Yeah.
But it seemed like some of her kind of guerrilla marketing that she was doing towards the tail end was a little bit of a swipe at the label for not doing their job. And so maybe what that means is she was nearing the end of her contract and that's why they were being so lazy. If so, maybe she gets off this label and she goes somewhere where she can get in like kind of a bit more of a creative space.
Yeah, I think I recall her discussing that there were things that she wanted to do that they weren't really supporting, and so she did exactly that, which it actually worked in her favor because I think the numbers were projected to be really low based off of imaginary players or whatever. They were just kind of like, I don't know, and she said actually
Boom, here it is. Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I mean, I'm listen. I think one thing that Cardi has taught is to never count her out.
facts. And if
And
you're her core fan, like
yeah,
you love this.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yep. All right, I don't have anything else.
All right. I appreciate you coming to join
Yeah,
us,
thanks for
Haas.
having me.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in for another episode of 80s Babies. I am in transit with doing some life movement stuff.
Yeah.
So we will try to, kind of continue to get episodes together as we can until we can get to a more regular cadence.
Word.
All right. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.